right. Welcome in, everyone. So this is been something I wanted to do for a while, and unfortunately Amazon had other plans, so we will be unboxing on live, because if I get scammed I want it on camera. The Phyrexia Compleat Edition. So, first off, we have an art piece of Elish Norn. I can honestly say that this is not super great, but sure. But here we go. I do understand that everything is going to be showing up in reverse order from left to right, but that's okay. So, we should have 12 packs, a pack of foil lands in full art color, as well as the pack of Phyrexian art full color that are not non-foil, with the Phyrexian art Phyrexian Arena. And all right, we have 12 packs of set boosters, as well as the Compleat Edition, which is what everyone is after. So we will save this for last. I will most likely be adding these to my existing decks. So we have 4 of each of the full color lands in foil edition. They all look very nice. We got plains. I love the plains. Probably my favorite out of the 5. Islands. All with the Phyrexian symbols, if you can spot them. Swamps. The very nice spider aesthetic. Mountains, which are probably my least favorite out of the bunch, but still look very nice in the full art foil. And then the forest. So there you go. As far as the... I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But this is the Phyrexian lands. So we have the Phyrexian Arena in the Phyrexian language and in a foil. So I will be changing. I think I'll be using this for the poison counter commander deck that I have. I have a Phyrexian Arena already in there, and then I'll probably switch it over to the. I mean, I might just put it in my collection, or there is a possibility I might put in my landfall deck, which has been having some issues with draw. And then you have the Phyrexian Plains, Phyrexian Island, swamps, mountains, and forest. So they all look very nice. Not my favorite aesthetic for basic lands, but they do like very nice in general. So okay, so those are some sick looking mana. I will appreciate that they look very nice. It's just not my cup of tea. But so here we go. We have 12 set boosters here. We have a full art card of Tyvar. We have Phyrexian Plains. Then we have our base commons, Infested Fleshcutter, of course, the Blightbelly Rat in the Ecker version, and the Sinew Dancer in the Ecker version. Phyrexian language Visa. I may have to zoom in here. So, it's a very nice card. And get obviously, not going to expect you to read it in Phyrexian, especially when it's backwards. But I believe at least the -7, we'll just go ahead and pull her up. All right. So Nissa, she is obviously completed. Create an XX green Phyrexian horror creature token where X is Nissa Ascended Animus Loyalty. And that is her +1. So if you go ahead and pay the full 7 mana for her, you get a 7/7 Phyrexian horror creature token. If not, if you do the Phyrexian mana, it's a 5/5, or double, it's a 3/3. She also has -1, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or -7, which is definitely the big one, and definitely the game ender. It is until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 for each forest you control and gain trample. So probably should have brought some sleeves on here, but she is definitely a good pull. And on top of that, we got another Phyrexian Arena. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So don't have to use the Phyrexian version if we don't need to. Basilica Shepherd, which is a very good common and limited, and foil. Flying, when it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 Phyrexian Mites that have Toxic 1 and don't and cannot block. And then Lucky Clover, which I assume is part of the list, because I'm not familiar with this card. So Lucky Clover, MTG. I believe this is part of the list, and it's worth all of 9 cents. So, all right. Whenever you cast an adventure, instant, or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for that copy. So, cool. Well, thank you, Blizzard. All right. Second pack. Phyrexian Beast. Oh. Guess all of these are going to have art. So we have a very nice art there. We have Phyrexian Mountain. Bunch of commons. Ravenous Necro Titan. 4 for a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice a creature unless an opponent is corrupted. So powerful. We have a Vat Emergence, Sawblade Scamp, that's Ichor, Blightbelly Rat, that's Ichor, and another Slowbad, and a Skrelv, that's foil and not curling. So this is a very nice Skrelv. I may have to this will definitely be something that we have to either put in a sleeve, or we just play ourselves, because I do like Skrelv in my current poison deck. So all right. And their art. Got a full art forest. Bunch of commons. We have Urabrask Anointer as the uncommon, Churning Reservoir as an uncommon, Thrumming Board, Ichor, which we've had several of these so far. We have the Rat King, which I believe this is the first that I've actually drawn of the Rat King, and it's the Ichor version, so very nice. Mind Splice Apparatus. I've been seeing a lot of this in MTG Arena. I'm not totally convinced this is a good card. But sure. And a very nice foil Cacophony Scamp with a Phyrexian Mite token. Just wait, Ace. There's some much sicker looking mana that's gonna come over, which is the whole point of this. So we have a very nice Elish Norn art card. This was the Phyrexian Vindicator, which is the white. Which is a, I believe, 5/5 with flying, and excuse me, whenever damage is dealt to it, you can redirect the damage to something else. So, Elish Norn. We have a Phyrexian Forest. Our commons here. Nothing of note. Vat of Rebirth, which is decent, albeit slow. Incubation Sac, which is very nice. Comes in the battlefield with 3 oil counters into it. You pay 4, tap, and it creates a 3/3 golem artifact. Unfortunately, the golems don't have infect themselves, so Unctus Retrofitter, 2/3 toxic 1. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target up to 1 target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4 as long as it remains on the battlefield. So nice. Rebskiff is also a very nice vehicle. Ooh. I like the Ichor Canker Bloom. It's very nice. And we have Tablet of Completion. Just tap, put an oil counter on it, tap, add a colorless mana, only if it has 2 or more oil counters onto it, and then pay 1, tap, draw a card, only if it has 5 or more oil counters. So very good for any sort of proliferate decks. We have a very nice foil Ichor Sinew Dancer. Oh shit. Okay. We just drew a Blightsteel Colossus. I did not know that this was part of the rotation. Blightsteel Colossus is obviously a very good card. If anyone was ever looking, it has Trample, Infect, Indestructible, and it's an 11/11. Yeah, if Blightsteel Colossus would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it, and shuffle it into its owner's library and set. So if you counter Blightsteel Colossus, if you somehow give it enough -1/-1s, the only other thing would be if it were, exiled. It would come back onto the battlefield. So this is 100% a very good draw. And at $40, this is quite an amazing pickup. All right. Moving on. have Jace as the art card. We have a full art island, which looks very nice. We have our commons. Font to progress. Enters the battlefield with 2 oil counters. Target player mills X cards where it X is the number of oil counters on font to progress. Not a great card. Transmit Theorist. You may draw a card when it enters the battlefield. If you do, discard a card. Put target card from your graveyard onto the top or on the bottom of your library. So a lot of stall here. Atmosphere, Surgeon. Remove an oil counter and target creature gets flying. We have a Reject Imperfection, which is the counter spell. And if the spell's mana value was 3 or less, you proliferate. We have another Ichor Kinkerbloom. And a 4th Azuri. I'm already tired of this guy. So when it enters the battlefield, you may pay 3. So going from 4 to 7, you may proliferate twice. And then whenever you proliferate, you draw a card. So great in Simic proliferate decks. I'm just very underwhelmed by Azuri. And that is definitely number 4 that we've drawn in the packs that we've collected. And then we have a foil Quicksilver Fisher. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card and then discard a card. So it's a rummage. So not all that exciting. And we have a Phyrexian Goblin. Just trying to organize all the cards real quick before we move on. All right. So we have our card. A Phyrexian Forest. We have our commons. Resistance Skywarden, which is a very nice pick in limited. Oxida Finisher, decent limited card, and a Slyvok Battle Chair, which appears to be a favorite of Day 9. Rustvine Cultivator, Ichor version. So this is kind of a Phyrexian Llanowar Elf. It's 1 green for a 1/2. You put an oil counter on it, and then you can tap, remove an oil counter, and then untap target land. We have an Aetheri, which is not curled as much as the ones that I have. From the this is the sub-commander from the Commander Precon, if you would like that. Though both commanders that I got from this Precon were curled beyond belief. So I have a very nice flat one. And then we have Rook, Hex Gold Nabber, which is something new for me. So it's a 2 and a red. Trample and Haste for a 2/2. When an equipped creature you control other than Rook attacks or dies, you may attach all equipment attached to that creature to Rook. Okay. Cool. So it does look like these packs in particular are a little bit more stacked because we have a Theory, we have Rook, and we have Tyvar, Jubilant Brawler. When you may activate abilities on creatures you control as though they had haste. You may untap up to one target creature, or mill 3 cards, and then return a target creature card with mana value 2 or less from the graveyard onto the battlefield. So not a super powerful Planeswalker, but I can definitely see its uses. And the fact, yeah, we seem to be consistently getting 2 or 3 each pack, so I'm kind of feeling that. What the hell is this? Then we have a Meldweb Curator foil when it enters battlefield, but target one target instant or a sorcery from your graveyard on top of your library. Okay. Let's see. Magic minigame Winchester Draft. Some sort of 2-player draft format. Sure. Whatever you say, Wizards. Moving on. Very nice Phyrexian Arena art card. Full art planes. We have our commons. Evolving Adaptive, I would like to play. I think it needs to be in some sort of proliferate deck, not in a creature deck. So, I think it's a good card. It's just it needs to be in the right deck in order to make him work. Cinderlash Ravager, also very good card, especially in limited. Ickerplate Golem, also very good and limited. Atraxas Skitterfang, and it's a battlefield with 3 oil counters on it. At the beginning of your combat, you remove an oil counter. When you do, target creature gains Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, or Lifelink, your choice, until end of turn. Very nice. Bladed Ambassador, good card. 2 mana for a 3/1. It has an oil counter. Remove an oil counter. It gains indestructible until end of turn. We have yet another Ichor Blightbelly Rat, which seems to be their favorite Ichor common. Not sure what's going on with that. And we have drawn our second slow bad for the for this box. I already had one, but yeah. So slow bad Iron Golem, sacrifice an artifact, add an amount of red mana equal to the artifact's mana value. Spend this mana only on artifact or to activate abilities of artifacts. So, I don't know. Not too keen on slow bad, but sure. And we have a very nice foil Noxious Assault, which is something I actually have pruned from my poison deck, commander deck. It's a very good card. Like, I might just put it back in, but we'll see. And we got another Winchester draft rolled card, so keep moving on. So waiting for our Elish Norn. But alright. This looks like an Iker Sinu art card. Very nice. Got a full art mountain. We have our commons. We have our Cacophony Scamp. Exuberant Fuseling. Very nice. Charge Forger. Enters the battlefield. Create a 1/1 Phyrexian Goblin creature token. When another creature or artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on Charge Forger. Move up to 3. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that this turn. Yeah, that's pretty underwhelming. We have an Iker Urbrask Anointer. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of permanents you control with oil counters on them. Alright, pretty solid. We have a Norn's Wellspring. It's a little slow, in my opinion, but I don't know. It could be worth something. Possibly in an Azorius like white-blue deck where you're allowed to untap permanents that you control. So like obviously in some sort of token deck, it's really good, but problem is it's only good for one turn, and you have to keep paying 1 mana and tapping it every turn. So whenever a creature you control dies, you scry 1, which is very nice, and put an oil counter on Norn's Wellspring. You pay 1 and tap, remove target 2. Remove 2 oil counters from Norn's Wellspring, and you draw a card. So it's very good. You just have to kind of play around with its limitations. All right. Leonind's Lightbringer. Very good common if you're playing Boros. So it's 2 and a white for a 3/2 Cat Rebel with Ward 2. As long as it's equipped, it gets +1/+1. And I believe that this is part of the list, which is Thran Forge. Pay 2. Until end of turn, target non-artifact creature gets +1/+0 and is an artifact creature. It does not seem all that powerful at face value. Yeah, it's worth 17 cents. So, cool. But it's part of the list. Very nice art card. Not exactly sure what that is. AP Unctus. Got a full art Plains, which is one of my favorites. We have our commons. Nothing too exciting. Minor misstep. Counter target spell of mana value 1 or less. Very limited use. Furnace Burnisher. Say 3 for 3 menace at the beginning of each player's upkeep. This creature deals 2 damage to any player during their upkeep unless they control 2 or more basic lands. Sure. Serum Snare, which is a bounce effect. Turn target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If that permanent had mana value 3 or less, proliferate. We have yet another Ichor Blightbelly Rat. And we have a Jace, the Perfected Mind. Very nice. He's completed. 2 in a blue and a Phyrexian blue. Yeah, completed. +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target creature gets -3, -0. -2. Excuse me. Target player mills 3 cards. Then, if that graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, you draw 3. Otherwise, you draw a card. And then you -X. Target player mills 3 times X cards. I'm not one for mill decks, but I could see someone playing into that. We have a foil Testament Bearer. 3 in black. When it dies, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. That's a 4/1. And we have a token. That's a 2/2 Samurai. Alright, we're getting close to the end of the set boosters, and then we'll open up the Phyrexian Complete Edition booster. Of all the boosters, I still have not pulled an Elish Norn. I have drawn most of the other cards. Alright, so we have a Kaya art. It's very nice, very spitting. We have a Phyrexian Island. We have our commons. Next Gen Communion. Enchant creature you control gains Toxic 2. When it dies, return your that card to the battlefield under your control. So it's alright. Like, there are some niche uses for this, but otherwise it's an okay card. Kinker Bloom, very nice card. Voidwing Hybrid, also very nice uncommon. We have a Ichor Urbrask Anointer. I believe this is the second one that we've drawn. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of permanents you control with oil counters on it. So, green, red, black, red, blue, oil decks would like this card. Definitely. Jorkadeen, Ichor. Very nice. Trample. It's red and white for a 2/2 with trample. When it attacks, it gains X plus X plus X, where X is the number of equipped creatures you control. Then if its power is 4 or greater, draw a card. So when I was doing a draft, this was the first card that I drew, and then did a Boros for Mirrodin deck, and never got this card to actually work because everyone was too afraid of it. But we did go all the way up to 6 wins, so very decent draw. Dragonwing Glider. 3 in double red for Mirrodin. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying haste. So it creates a 4/4 flying haste creature token. That's not bad. And then we have a second Expand the Sphere foil, which I already have. Then we have a Phyrexian Goblin creature token. Alright. Down to the last 2. Here we go. The art card, I assume, is Sindu Dancer. I'm not too familiar with it, but very nice art. We have a foil, full art forest, which I'm very excited about. We have our commons. Rip Skiff, which is fine. Necrosquito, which is fine. Armored Scrapgorger, which is fine. Another Ichor Cankerbloom. Monumental Facade. Not my favorite. Rare. We have an Ichor Thrumming, which is something we've already pulled before. It is a 1/1 with flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you proliferate. So great for commander decks. I might have to use that at some point. And then we have something from the list again, I believe, which is Leonin Arbiter. 1 in a white for a 2/2 cat cleric. Players cannot search their libraries. Any player that may pay 2 for that player to ignore this effect until end of turn. This would be problematic for my landfall deck. Leonin Arbiter is worth 30 cents. So, thank you, Wizards. Alright, last pack before we get to the complete pack. There we go. Alright, so the art card is the black-blue Planeswalker. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. It's the ninjutsu one. So I remember when they were like revealing everything, they were saying that they wanted to have everyone completed. Excuse me. So this was like the Ichor, like alternate universe kind of thing. So we have a full art swamp. Always looks very nice. I have Malcator's Watcher, Chrome Prowler. So all of these commons are of blue. Necrosquito, Armored Scrapgorger, Evolving Adaptive, and Cinderlash Ravager. Saw Blade Scamp, not the best Egger version that we want to see. Evolved Spinoderm. When it enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it, has trample as long as there are 2 or fewer on it. Otherwise, it has hexproof. So 4/4/5/5 with 4 oil counters is not bad, especially because it has hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Evolved Spinoderm. Then, if it has no oil counters on it, sacrifice it. So, really good for like a green red or green blue, green black oil deck. So, and then Cephalopod Sentry. We have a very nice foil. It's a very nice foil, actually. Flying, its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. And that's a star 5. And then we have yet another Phyrexian Goblin. So, that is very nice. We have a very nice pocket of rares and other very good cards. As well as our art cards, which I don't think are worth anything, but they look nice overall. Not one for collecting a bunch of art. But time has come. So the way that it works is this pack right here, which I've obviously saved for last. There are 12 cards in here. They are all oil slick foils. 10 of which are going to be basic lands. And the last 2 are guaranteed mythic cards. So there are only 20 mythic cards in the set. And so the absolute best pack would be Elish Norn plus Atraxa. Which it would be 1 in 20, so 1 in 400 chance. But let us see exactly what we've been waiting for over a month to open up. They're just not making it easy, so we're just gonna use the pull tab. All right, so we're gonna go through. So these are raised. These are brand new types of cards. This pack definitely deserves teeth. I don't know about that. So yeah, these are absolutely perfectly straight cards. So they definitely had a lot of QA involved in these. So the texture of this is completely raised. It's absolutely fantastic. It seems to be a complete waste that 10 of these are basic lands, but here we are. Imagine playing someone with a full set of this kind of land. I do not doubt that someone is going to be playing with this full set of land. It's not my style. I like this. I think this is way better than something like this, but to each of their own. But we have the plains, the island, which I believe is going to be my least favorite. Even though blue is my favorite color, I don't know, something about that. And then we have the swamp, which does look fantastic. The forest, which looks great. And then finally the mountain. All right, so for our first Ichor raised mythic, we have the Capricious Hellraiser, which Ace may be interested in. It's 3 triple red for a 4/4 Phyrexian Dragon. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you have 9 or more cards in your graveyard. So you may play a 4/4 for 3 red if you want with flying. When Capricious Hellraiser enters the battlefield, exile 3 cards at random from your graveyard. Choose a non-creature, non-land card from among them and copy it. You may cast that copy without paying its mana cost. Yeah, it makes it better. It's not great. But it is the Ichor raised foil, which does look very nice, I will say. But so there you go. And finally, oh my. Okay. We have a Sword of Forge and Frontier as the Ichor raised foil. So this is yet one of the other dual swords that were originally made in Mirrodin. I don't know if this is the final sword or if there's another one, but Sword of Forge and Frontier 3. It may be, yeah. Like, I know that the sword itself is worth a lot, and I do have one, and so the Ichor raised foil may be worth something itself. But equipped creature gets +2/+2 and protection from green and red. When equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards from your library. You may pay them. So it's a Not. Yeah, it's a protection from Ace. It's not a rummage effect. What is it? It's an impulse effect. And then you also may play an additional land this turn. So we have a protection from Ace sword. What's protection from Ace? This sword. I'll post this up on YouTube and I'll flip the. I have. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. Yeah. So I happen to have a foil sword of Fortune Frontier. So I'll be interested to see which one ends up being the one of more value. Unfortunately, we still have not drawn an Elish Norn, and I would like to have an Elish Norn from before. I knew that that was not something we were going to draw today, but it would be great in my red-white token deck. I was out of all the cards that I could have pulled, the Atraxa would have been the best. In terms of the Ichor, this is the base Atraxa, which currently is a menace in MTG Arena. I'll post it. I haven't really fully found out the full deck, but it does involve Invoke Justice, which is not something I currently have. But it's a 7/7. It costs 3, a green, a white, a blue, and a black, so no red. And has Flying, Vigilance, Death, Touch, and Lifelink. And it's a 7/7. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put that card from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So, yeah, what they end up doing is they primarily go red and white. they uh, uh, they stack their decks with impulse cards or draw and then discard cards, and they intentionally discard Atraxa, and then they use Invoke Justice to bring Atraxa out, because Invoke Justice is search your graveyard for a creature card and put it onto the battlefield, and then put 4+1/+1 counters onto it. And then Atraxa, with the ETB effect, allows you to put a bunch of crap onto your hand. So it's kind of obnoxious to deal with. Especially because they put Phyrexian Portal to Phyrexia into their hand. Or they put Portal Phyrexia onto the battlefield, forcing you to excuse me, sacrifice 3 creatures, and then each turn you get to put a creature from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So Portal Phyrexia is quite obnoxious. The whole deck is kind of gross, but so yeah, we'll go ahead and sleeve these. So we'll put the tokens somewhere, and then as well as the full art lands, might just put them in here. So, but thanks for watching, guys. We already have a foil island. No Phyrexian swamps. That's kind of surprising. That we have the foil Phyrexian land, the normal Phyrexian land, and the normal forest. You're going to open up your CRT. How old is it? You're going to mod in RGB inputs. It's old. You might want to wear some gloves. Just saying. Of all the things that they would just like stuff into this bundle, I'm a little unimpressed that they put basic lands in here. Like, if they put like the fetch lands or the dual lands or something, like, I think this would have been a lot better. Is it just open it up and solder away? Oh, doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, you should stream it. Oh, it's the girlfriend. She knows. All right. Take care. I'll chat later.